beautiful people. Welcome back to Sweet Millionaire Formula, the podcast where we mix money goals with Hollywood drama and drop gems like it's hot. I'm your host, Money Mona, Budget Babe by Day, and I'm here to help you secure the bag without losing your mind or your edges. Period. Let's talk money, mess, and millionaire moves. Here's what we got on the agenda today. Why are men slipping so bad when it comes to dating? Are black women the new trendsetters in ownership and building wealth? The body, brain, and burnout. Grab that drink, sis, or your pen, because we're about to get into it. One thing that I'm going to listen to is my body. And recently, it's been such a cold turkey moment with my eating because I was going through a situation at the beginning of the year where I was 199 pounds. And I was super sad about it because I'm like, this was supposed to be the year that I branch off into dancing and being my full self and, really diving into my creative arts and just brushing up on things that I haven't touched in maybe 10 or 12 years. And so I thought that just working out 3 or 4 days a week would suffice. But my body has experienced like new things, like different things, like especially with my knees. So I was just trying to figure out how is it that I'm working out in a gym 4 or 5 times a week, but I'm coming home, I'm eating chicken breast, stuffed chicken breast, I'm eating salmon salad, I'm eating yogurt, chips, and pretty much everything that I normally eat, but I wasn't conscious about the calorie intake. I wasn't conscious about the grogginess that I was feeling in my stomach, and I just started to just really pay attention to what my stomach was feeling, because I feel like the stomach is the epicenter of all of your body's, functions. So I'm like, let me change the way I'm eating. So after I watched this documentary on Netflix called What the Health, I watched this documentary and I was reminded of why I had stopped drinking cow's milk and eating cheese and all that stuff. And I'm just realizing all of those products are built up with bacterias and hormones or bioengineered, and it's more beneficial for me to have gone cold turkey. Now, it was hard the first 2 weeks, but it's been about 8 weeks now, so I'm fully immersed and I'm seeing the benefits. I'm down 17 pounds. Congratulations to changing my mind, but it took intention. But I think you should pay attention to your body. I don't know how you can call yourself a adult that's basically, looking forward to retirement and looking forward to traveling the world and all these other things. But the one vehicle that you're going to need the most is your body. And I feel like without proper attention to your gut, your breath, your body, your limbs, your circulation, and just getting your yearly appointments and things like that, that's important. But I think only you can pay attention to your body. Only you can sit down and be like, dang, this is what I need help with, or I need to take more vitamins or more turmeric or more this or more that. And you have to tailor your regimen towards you. But what is it, some things that you ignore about your stomach or your body that you feel like you can improve on? I know for sure for me, it was my eating meats and me eating almost 1,500 calories a day. And it's just not healthy. So I decided to cut meat out of my diet. I stopped eating pretty much all dairy products, cheese, milk, eggs, yogurt. And I opted for coconut yogurt now. It's purely coconut. I switched my meat for pastas and just making sauces from scratch. So I just want to encourage you. I know it's a little bit daunting to think about, but if you make these early changes to help your gut, maybe it'll help your finances. And I'm all about the finances, and that's what we're going to get into today because I have some really good topics. So first topic today, stack your paper. I wanted to talk about how men are slipping, or are they slipping, or is the dynamic of the world's current state of presidency, is that really playing into the effects and the outcomes that we're getting and quality of men that we're getting? Or is it that you're not in the right place or the right time, or you're not generating the right amount of money? Ooh, I hate to say it so blunt because it's dang, how you gonna say I'm not? But it's for me, realizing that black wealth is more of an experience rather than a money thing. It is to have money, but it's like to have culture, to have lineage, and to have, culture and the link. How else do you say it? I can't even get the word out. But basically, it's that quilted, stitched in version of yourself to your culture, and that's like naturally. And I feel like sometimes when you are trying to be the stereotypical American version of yourself without diving into and pulling back first before you date, I feel like you'll go into a situation where you'll be expecting all of this stuff from this man, like this experience. And I think what I've learned over the time is that he can't give me. I already had the experiences when I was loose. I ain't had no, mindset. I was running the streets. I was getting arrested, and I was, drinking at the clubs and stealing the bottles. We already had those loose experiences. And when you go to college, and going to Howard especially, was a time where baby, my head was not on the right place. All I knew is I was experiencing black wealth on a level that I had never seen it, felt it, or been around before. And that experience and losing my scholarship and everything that followed after that, I feel like that was a catapult for me to have these new standards about myself and things like that. So, now 15 years later, 13 years later, I kind of switched that there. I took 2 years, I gave 2 years. I'll let you decide. But when we say that men are slipping, I don't think that men are slipping. I think that it's a cultural reference of connectivity and expansion of your circles that deepens your roots to better opportunities and experiences that are not having to be monetary and being placed in this box. Because I feel like sometimes I go places and I'm like, dang, I don't have my man on my hip, but you see all these white women, you see all these other races with their man on their hip, and it's just like, if I start to think about it, 3 million of our black men are locked up, and then I see this vibration of black men echoing through the media in such a positive light. It's like, it's so hard to hate or judge, or because they're in every sector of the world, pretty much speaking the gospel, talking about the Lord, being confident, standing in their stance on their belief in God. They're not wavering. And I think that there's a sick, abominable, almost like undigestible, because at this point it's deeper than racism. Why are there 3 million able-bodied black men stuffed in prisons off in Indiana, Oklahoma, Wyoming, Wisconsin, Pittsburgh? Like, why is it that the American dream for refugees that can come in here, they can Habib can open up him a corner store or a 7-Eleven or a whatever you may deem, but it's like the people who built this country, the people, I can't wrap it, like, how 1 + 1 is 2? It's not adding up. It's deeper than race. It is. I can't even sum it up because I don't want to sum it up, but I'm just saying, like, when I think about how you could say men are slipping, but is it that men are slipping, or is it the cultural divide that's happened 3 or 4 generations ago that are just now coming to the surface? If you ever been through a situation that really rocked your mind or rocked your spirit, it was like earth shattering. It was like, dang, it took you a long time for it to even come back, and you realize, like, oh, that's why that. So the ripple effect of the war on drugs, the locking these men up, and then the aftermath of these, like, I thank God for colleges and black people being able to protest and lead marches. And I think like, what's his name, Carmichael, I believe his name is Carmichael, but I believe he's one of the students in San Francisco in the 1960s who protested that black students get their fair share to education and liberal arts, and that became a worldwide, nationwide protest. And next thing you know, doors are opening for black people. So I appreciate the presence of black men, and I don't think that they're slipping. I think that they're so deprived, and they're so, and I can't say from all perspectives. I'm saying in America, because this is not a international problem. It's not. It is a stain that they have to keep trying to rub in. If racism is going to go on peacefully and we're going to move on, then let's move on. But if they white people have this stain of white supremacy is attached to black violence, then we're not being properly framed to experience a black man from a healthy perspective for as long as we see, as long as they live, their generation, the generation before him. We're only seeing these cap cut versions, these 15-second personas, these different margins of, you see black men being exploited and they get their, riches and they so-called go to, but at the same time you see them being shot and killed, and there's this string of medium of black men and black women having to be the violin, the strings on the violin for the nation to be able to have to shift and divide and choose. And it's like the weight of being able to survive in this country, it's like you cannot win either way, but this doesn't transfer internationally, because when you go to Ghana, you go to Benin, you go to the Ivory Coast, you go to Senegal, you go to Dakar, you go West Africa, Johannesburg, you're seeing black wealth on a strong, it's surpassing any type of experience you can have in America. So it's just like, I couldn't say that our men are slipping. I feel like there's a ripple effect and a exposure that's happening, that's tearing at the seams of the trickle down from the slavery to the war on drugs to the mass incarceration to the stipulations of racism to the discriminate. There's so many different layers and avenues that you have to pick up these pieces that it cannot be summed up by saying one thing. Segment 2, spill the wealth. Now, from my research and from basically this, it's very evident that black women are the epicenter of black businesses and technology and partnerships, and they're setting the tone. I don't think this is a new thing. I was seeing a debate as to whether black women being the most educated but the most unemployed, and I was thinking about how they're quick to highlight the negatives or throw the negatives in there as a monkey wrench, but nobody talks about how black women are the epitome and the self-starters. We are, as much as some of the people like to say, or people like to put on, there is a great amount of CEO black women who are the heads of Fortune 500 companies and who are leading the torch for change in all type of divisions. We have women there are plenty of women in general leading the top Fortune 500 companies. Now, this list is women who are CEOs of different sectors and different fields across the S&P 500. We have Marianne Mann, who's the head of Marathon's Petroleum Corp. Shelley Simpson, who stands at the top of J.B. Hunt Transport. Cassia Stillman, who elevated to CEO of Ulta Beauty. And Deanna Strable, who leads the Principal Financial Group. All of these advancements, black women are still glaring underrepresented in corporate leadership positions. The only black women on this 2025 list are the same two CEOs. And I think that the push for diversity and equity and inclusion extends beyond just having that person in the office. There's a wealth of new ideas that are born when people work together, and the fact that this country is exuding sometimes, most times, and pretty much all the time, especially when I walk in my black woman's shoes, they're exuding this uninterest, but this desperate need to have to worship the presence or energy and vibration that comes from God when you speak to a black person. Like Shador Sanders is being, like, white people seem like they lay down at his feet. How are y'all so... It's unexplainable, and it's something that I would never be able to explain, because I'm not a white person. I don't have no obsession with being evil towards people, but black women are setting the tone and always setting the trends, whether it's in the corporate office, the classroom, or your local grocery store, this facilitating leadership energy that we have to be able to take on leadership roles, it stems from a high level of intelligence. And when you think about people like Kathleen G. Johnson, who sent a man to the moon multiple times and spent 33 years at NASA, it kind of is telling that our intelligence extends beyond what we can do at a job. So that's why it's fundamental to have these PIR, say it with me, PIR, passive income ratios. When you have passive income ratios and you are an entrepreneur, you open up access and doors for yourself that puts you into business credit. And, that business credit takes you global. You're opening up Airbnbs and you're doing things that generate multiple streams of passive income, which is exactly where you want to be. For the last segment, Millionaire Moves, I still want to talk about what I was talking about before, and we're going to circle back to that because body, brain, and burnout is something that everyday celebrities have talked about and have dealt with, whether it's a celebrity or an artist or an athlete. There's no athlete I could think of who don't take an off season for themselves. And I think that it's important to highlight that $1 million move can save your life if you invest in your body, your mind, and your activities to be able to generate not only a passive income ratio, but to strike gold and an opportunity to connect in the world on a different way, because it doesn't have to look like a structured pattern or path. And so I think that when you are able to invest into things that are like good for your body and mind, and you're able to strike thoughts and experiences and moments that catapult you into different lanes. And so I think it's $1 million move to invest in your body, invest in your mind, and not feel like you have to, I don't know, shortchange yourself, right? Like, I don't want people to think that the ceiling is the only place that you can reach. And I don't think that like having a house is the American dream. So it's important and it's imperative that when you think about how you see yourself and the first place you want to start is your body. And I think that when you experiencing a demand on your body that is higher than what you can produce, especially like, say, I don't know, say you're a security guard or a nail salon owner, or at some point you start from the bottom, and so you're experiencing body fatigue. And I want to just highlight how it's important that you invest into your body, because you have a peak in your life that's between like 27 and 65, 70. Okay, that was a long peak. I gave us a long peak there, and I'm glad that I did, because that's just, give me the 70, give me the 80, 90. Give me a peak at 70. Like, I wish we would peak again at 70. Like, stop playing with me. This life is unimaginable. And I might peak again at 70. But I'm just saying that when you invest in your body now, you have time to really go after your peak years as far as establishing your purpose and legacy and being able to put a stamp on your place and your effects and your service to other people. I think that's the most important part of purpose and figuring things out and want to achieve something that's for greater than you, is that you know that you have a God-given purpose, and a God-given purpose to figure out is something that only your relationship with God will fulfill you, and you understanding that. And a big part of me doing my podcast and fulfilling this promise to myself is because it seemed like it was a door that was open to me that I don't know how to explain it. Like, it was an experience of my mind parting and opening up to this new area, and I can hear him saying to do this. And now that I'm almost a year into it, it's time to go up a level. And so I'm excited about the millionaire moves that I've made with my body. I've lost my 17 pounds. I've got about 15 more pounds that I want to lose. The goal is 160. Let me know what your weight loss goals is, or what your regimen is that you use or take for your fitness and wellness journey, because this is it can be a lonely road, especially when you have coworkers who are like, oh no, I can never, like, I'm eating my steak, and it's like, oh no, I just want an oatmeal. So it's like, drop your regimen in the comments for your to prevent burnout, and what do you do, or what do you take, and what's your age, and how has those products helped you? I would love to hear from you. Whoa, okay, we covered a lot today, so let's do a recap, okay? Men aren't necessarily slipping when it comes to dating, ladies. Sometimes marriage and children is not the capacity of who you are. And I think that if you search a little bit more for your purpose and you're stand on business and spend a little bit of time separated. I'm spending time separate. I'm spending time separate. I know what I'm talking about and what I'm telling you. And how it's pushed me to catapult me into having to decide. Now I have the time for a passive income ratio. How can I just devote that energy into a passion, into a business, into a meaningful opportunity to help somebody else? And Lord, can you please help me and bless it? Because I'm confident that this is a work and it's an opportunity that I've never taken before. So please, Lord, steer me in the right direction. There's nothing wrong with yielding and asking God to help you and steer you. Because in the end, we always just want to give and give the praise to the Most High. Black women are definitely leading and setting the trends. I think that we are in a new era of maneuvering, partnering, and talking and working. But I don't know if it's like it's secretive, but it's like you got to tap into these empowerments. You got to tap into your circle and you got to be about your business, because the wealth that can be created with the circle that's around you, it can happen for all of you and not just one person. So be like-minded and be agile enough to flex and reshape your thinking and lifestyle so that you can be equipped in later years to really live in your purpose at a maximum level. All right, y'all. Until next time, stack it, save it,